Came to Indonesia about 24 years ago. When I came down here, I really loved it. So I called up my girlfriend at the time and I said, sorry, babe, I'm not coming back, that's it. And then, what about all your stuff? I just keep it. So we were like pirates. We were like a little pirate organization, a pirate ship kind of going around the sea. But then as you develop, as you move through the various stages of your organization getting bigger, so you go from becoming pirates all the way through the various stages until you come like almost the Navy. In general, we use one word, trust. So we want basically people, if they book our hotels or stay in hotels or work for us as a company, it's a company we can trust.
Punya cita-cita kerja di hotel waktu umur 8 tahun, sekarang memiliki jaringan hotel terbesar di Asia Tenggara. John Flood, pria yang 24 tahun lalu datang dari Irlandia ke Indonesia untuk membangun bisnis perhotelan. Semua ini berawal dari impian masa kecilnya yang melihat hotel sebagai tempat yang glamor. Namun tidak seperti impian masa kecil yang makin meredup seiring berjalannya waktu, mimpi John justru semakin kuat. Ia mulai menapaki karir di bidang perhotelan dan F&B pada umur 14 tahun, hingga akhirnya datang ke Indonesia pada tahun 1999. Melihat potensi bisnis di Indonesia, John memutuskan untuk tinggal, menetap, dan mengubah kewarganegaraannya menjadi WNI. Berbekal nilai kepercayaan Archipelago International yang dibangun John bersama rekannya lebih dari 20 tahun lalu, kini sudah membuahkan hasil yang manis. Perusahaannya telah melahirkan 11 brand perhotelan yang berada di 200 lokasi dengan total lebih dari 45.000 kamar. Hal ini membuat Archipelago International menjadi salah satu jaringan hotel yang diperhitungkan secara global. Meski sempat terdampak pandemi, hotel-hotel di bawah naungannya mampu bertahan dan bangkit lebih kuat dari sebelumnya. Pak John, thank you for having us today. How are you?
Very good, Kini. Nice to meet you. Thanks very much for having me on the show.
Nice to meet you too. And then we will have a lot of chat, but it's a casual chat. So first of all, I want to ask you about the childhood, because everything starts from childhood, right? We heard that you want to work in a hotel since 8 years old.
8 years old, yeah. I think I was 8 years old when I decided I wanted to be in the hotel business. So after that, everything was kind of geared towards hotels.
Why hotel? Because a child dream actually become a doctor, an astronaut, a pilot. Why you want?
I always thought hotels were just glamorous. Every time I went past the hotel and where I was from in Dublin, or we visited a hotel or restaurants. I just thought the restaurant trade, the hotel business was really glamorous. So I was always really fascinated by it, and then always looked forward to it. If we went to restaurants on a Saturday or a Sunday with the family, it was always for me, it was the time of the week, And then there was also a couple of shows on TV. There was one show called Upstairs, Downstairs, which was about a Victorian family in England.
Okay.
And about the front of house and the back of house and what happened there. And I always thought that was interesting. And they always had tuxedos and bow ties and everything, very glamorous, And then there was another show called Fantasy Island.
Yeah.
Which was, they have a show, it's a repeat on at the moment, but years ago was a show called Fantasy Island where people went to this island and there was a guy called Mr. Rourke. And he looked after all the guests, and they stayed in his hotel, and he made all their fantasies come true, and he kind of sorted things out. So I always thought that was amazing. So I always thought for me, that was the ideal of a GM in a hotel. He could make, people come to the hotel, he looks after them, and they have a great time, and everything's really interesting, and they have it's really cool place, So yeah, I just really got into it, And then I was into cooking at the time, from a young age.
Oh, so
I was, I always cooked. I always bake cakes and. I got angry with my mother if she didn't, one time I was for example, she was making apple tarts. So I said, I'll make some pastry as well. And then I made some pastry and then I put it in the oven and it came out and then it was totally different to hers.
Yeah.
And I said, why is mine so different? And she said, because you didn't put the butter in it. She only gave me flour and water to put together and I made it, so it came out really hard,
Okay.
And I got really angry, even at 6 years old, I think I was at the time. I was jumping up and down, telling her, why didn't she give me the right recipe and stuff like that. So I was totally
But next, you really work in a hotel or in
Yeah, I started when I was younger then, wanted to make some money. as a kid. So in those days, you could work in a bar, for example, as a waiter. So a lounge boy, it was called. So I used to do that. Went to a bar after school, started working there as a waiter. And then after that, I got talking to the cook in the bar. They used to do a lot of like pub food, which is very good quality. I asked the guy, can I work in the kitchen, after school? So he's like, yeah. So I used to go over there after school when I was 14, 15 and start working in the kitchens. So I'd cook the food and then I'd run downstairs and I'd serve the food. And so I did all that kind of stuff. So then after I finished school, then I started working in a hotel in Dublin, like straight away, But basically from 14, every day after school, from 4 o'clock until 11 o'clock at night, I used to work in restaurants, or bars.
Okay. But then like you have worked without being paid, right? Why is that?
Paid a little, yeah. I was paid then when I was younger, and then you're going on about like later on working for free. Yeah, I mean, I used to after I finished hotel school in Dublin. I finished that on a Friday and Saturday. I was already in London working. I got a flight to London on the next morning when I was about 20 years old. And then when I was in London, I was working full time in some hotels. And then on my days off or after work, I'd go and work in other places. So when I was in London for 2 years, I worked in maybe 100 different places doing, everywhere from, Stringfellows nightclub, Hard Rock Cafe, Buckingham Palace, air shows, catering things, weddings, Windsor Castle, all kinds of places, just like to get experience. So I've worked basically every day, my normal job, plus then I go to another place to work. And then on the weekends, on Saturdays and Sundays, I used to go and work in different hotels and stuff. So, but also even when, because I always wanted to get into like hotel management. Yeah. So even when I was working in F&B, for example, on the weekends, I'd go to the hotel I was working in and then work in the front office or work in, different areas like housekeeping or whatever like that. So I could learn like all the different systems in the different hotels. Yeah.
Was it hard? Because like you work in so many places and then there must be like exhausting.
Well, I mean, it's what I did. I mean, I always kind of like had a plan what I wanted to do. And then I just knew like, if you want to do it, like you need all the experience you can and as many different places as you can. So for me, it was tiring, but I mean, I basically worked from 7 o'clock in the morning until 11 o'clock at night every day for that particular 2 years. That's all I did, just work. But it was enjoyable. I mean, you meet nice people, the interaction with the guests. I mean, I was basically like a hobby. I was doing what I like to do. So I had my paid job, but even when you're working in places for free, I mean, they still give you food. You can have a shower. I mean, you don't get a lot of money in hotels in those days, right?
Yeah.
In London, I mean, you have minimum salary and stuff like that. But I mean, it's good experience, yeah. So
because you want to get the experience.
Get the experience, yeah.
And then you want to learn the whole process.
Right.
Of like running a hotel.
Running everything from top to bottom, like food and beverage, like the kitchens, the restaurants, the front office, the housekeeping areas, the engineering, how it all fits together. Yeah. So all this experience kind of like helped me later on in years. But I mean, even on a day off, for example, I used to pick a restaurant that I go to and spend all my money in that particular restaurant. If it was a Michelin star restaurant or some interesting concept, I would go there so I could also experience it from a guest point of view, which I always thought was important. But it's much different if you're experiencing these things as a guest than just working. Yeah, so that's what but I've always done that. I mean, even on holidays now, I mean, I'll pick places where I can go to a hotel and experience the hotel or experience the F&B and different concepts and stuff like that. And I'll be taking notes. I'll be going around the hotel, having a look, sit in the front office or the lobby for 1 or 2 hours and just look at how it flows, see what goes on, see what kind of guests come through, all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Any particular interesting experience?
Many, but
big one.
not really. It's just over like an accumulation of all this experience over the years. Like, so when you come to do your own stuff, I mean, you have a lot of stuff to draw on, so I'll have like big files of different pictures I'll take for different things over the years. So I still have all the stuff. I mean, all the stuff I built up over the years, I still have all that. Yeah. So I keep it, so.
Because you're still doing it, right? Experiencing.
Still do it every day, every day. Looking for different stuff. I mean, if I go on holidays, different places, or going around hotels in Jakarta or Bali or Indonesia, you can, you find some good stuff, you find some bad stuff. Even on the bad stuff, I'm like, I'll send a memo to our guys like, hey, make sure we don't do this, make sure we do this, make sure we have this in place. These kind of systems, so you can, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right?
Okay. And then like, when you start staying in Indonesia?
I came to Indonesia about 24 years ago. So at the time I was in Copenhagen, and there was a guy there. He asked me to come down and help him with a villa property that he had in Bali. And I was only supposed to be for 3 or 6 months originally. But then when I came down here, I really loved it. So I called up my girlfriend at the time and I said, sorry, babe, I'm not coming back, that's it. And then, what about all your stuff? I just keep it. So when I left Dublin the first time, I had, when I was 20, I had one bag and 80 pounds when I went to London.
Yeah.
So then I built up some stuff when I was in London and in Paris and Copenhagen. But when I left Copenhagen, then I only came to Bali with one bag and maybe 200 pounds. So after all those years, all the stuff I left, the apartment, the car, everything's like,
So you're
was
from
gone.
Dublin, working in
Yeah,
London?
first I went from Dublin, I went to London for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then after that I went to Paris for a couple of years.
Working in a hotel too?
Always, yeah, hotels. And then after that I went to Copenhagen for 5 years. So I worked in some nice places, nice hotels, good restaurants.
Yeah.
Had a lot of different experiences, but always like, just always working. So that's why for us, like, it's like New Year's Eve or Christmas and stuff like that. Like, I've never had those off. Like, I have them off now, but in those, until I was maybe 40 years old, I never had like a New Year's Eve off or a Christmas off. I always worked. Because that was like big banquets. You could make extra money. You could get some new experience. You could do some stuff. So I worked every chance I got,
Ooh, tiring.
All good fun.
Yeah. Like, you were in Indonesia for like 99?
Not about 99, yeah. So I
What?
came down after Christmas. So when they had the economic crisis in '98, the fall of Suharto, and so. But I mean, you didn't have the internet really in those days. So people used to say to me, "Oh, you're going to Bali, and it's very dangerous down there," da da da. And I was like, "No, it's no problem. It's Bali, it's different than Indonesia." But I didn't really get it that Bali was like part of Indonesia. So and then I came down here, I was like, "Oh."
What was Bali situation?
Then
At
it was
that
good.
time?
It was good. Yeah, it was good. It was nice. There was no problem actually. It was but business at the time was a bit quiet because a lot of people weren't going there. But over time it was good. But it was just very enjoyable. It was a great experience for me because I'd never been to Asia before.
So your first experience to Asia is to Bali?
To Bali, yeah. Because usually when I worked in Europe, for example, I just always worked around Europe. If I was working in Denmark or on holidays, because I didn't have much money, you'd get the train to Germany or get to Poland or Russia or whatever to do stuff like that.
Basically, like you're hopping from one country to another. You go by train and then you go somewhere very far to.
Because somebody else was paying for the ticket.
Yeah.
So it was okay. But I didn't have the money at the time to get a flight to Asia. That wasn't really on my radar. So, but somebody offered me that, and I was like, hey, sure.
So, what was the difference? What is the difference Bali then, like Indonesia then and now, according to you?
It's just much more. The middle class obviously is a lot better. At the time in Bali, even like a lot of the focus was on foreign tourists, whereas now like the focus is on domestic tourists because the Jakarta market going to Bali is just so big now. But before, like the focus wasn't really on the Jakarta market; it was like a secondary kind of importance. But now it's like. In Bali, in particular, I think they focus more now on, the 4 million domestic market. There's 4 million people, Indonesians traveling to Bali every year, where you get maybe 2 million foreign visitors. Yeah, so the domestic market now is much bigger than the international market. Yeah,
is that the potential that makes you build Archipelago today? Like.
Yeah,
what was the story?
What was the story? Well, the original, after I've been here a couple of years, I was finishing off my MBA.
Yeah.
And then I met a guy called Charles Brookfield by the company here at the time. And then we talked about hotels and his business and so forth. And he had a company here at the time.
Yeah.
And he said to me, well, when you finish your MBA, come and work for me. So we became friends. And then before I came to work for him, when I was finishing off the thesis for my MBA, we used to meet every afternoon and talk about hotels and hotel business in general, and if what could potentially be the future of a hotel business in Indonesia. So we used to talk, and then I'd go home and I'd write it up. My thesis for the MBA was building a sustainable hotel chain in Indonesia. That was the final thesis.
Yeah.
And that was basically that turned into the business plan for Archipelago. So, and we still run that. It was like
Whoa.
it was a 20-year business plan. Yeah, I had like, okay, if we do this, we'll have like the different brands. And
Yeah.
at the time, budget airlines were getting popular.
Yeah.
Like Lion Air was getting popular, and AirAsia was getting popular. And then they were, also getting rid of the fiscal tax for
Yes.
overseas.
Yes.
So there was a lot more. So we were saying, well, for the hotel business, they'll need budget hotels. So then we developed like a budget hotel brand, Fave Hotels. And we said, okay, we need, the sweet spot for us would be in the mid class, like 3 to 4 star hotels.
Okay.
So most of our focus was on 3 and 4 star hotels. But basically, we started off with that. We started off small, then we started Archipelago, and then went on from there. Yeah. So Charlie was like, he'd had a lot of experience in the hotel business, but he's also previously he was an auditor with Coopers and Lybrand when he was younger. So he has a very strong financial background, and he audited a lot of different businesses. So he has a lot of different knowledge about how different businesses run and structured and set up. So for me, that was always fascinating, and he's a really cool guy. So it was always like, I saw him as someone who could really be a good mentor for me, So, he'd be come up with some ideas and mentor me. And then I'd like, I was finishing my MBA, so I was really, hot to trot and still young. I was maybe 30, 31 or 32 at the time. So I had a lot of energy. So setting up like all the different bits and pieces that would have to go into this is a lot of work in the beginning. So that's what I did. So even now, like, I'm less busy now than I was 20 years ago when we had only like a couple of hotels, because all the systems basically are in place now. So now it's just like adjusting or making fine tuning systems and stuff like that. But basically all the hard work from my side, all the systems and procedures and all that stuff was set up like 15 to 20 years ago.
So that was the reason why you want to work with Charlie, because like he has a lot of experience like in financial things, like.
Yeah, he's a lot of experience, but he's also like he had a good vision, but he just needed somebody to help him put it in place, So he couldn't really do it by himself. I couldn't do it by myself. Yeah. So we kind of formed this like, a partnership, but it worked out really well. It's like, that he brought a lot to the table, and I brought a lot to the table, and so we were able to kind of develop it like that together, So it worked out really well. I mean, we have different opinions on stuff, but we've never had like in 20 years together in business, we've never had an argument over stuff. We just talk things out and ideas, and in general, we can always find a consensus, Yeah. And I mean, even if I don't agree, and it's like it could be one small thing. I mean, what difference does that make over 20 years of business? It's like, whatever. So I mean, even if I don't agree with it, we'll go along. Or sometimes he doesn't agree with it, he'll go along, because I mean, over the lifespan of the whole company, big picture wise, it's a very small thing. But just in general, I mean, for most things, we'd be very much aligned in how we want to do it, And then we can talk it through and say, okay, look at the pluses and the minuses and stuff like that. So we have a great relationship, works out really well. He's a great guy, and we get on really well, So
like many people, including me at first, think that Archipelago International is like in foreign company, but actually it is an Indonesian company.
Yeah. I mean, originally we started off. I mean, I'm Irish citizen and Charlie's American, but maybe 14 years ago, I think we took Indonesian citizenship. So then we changed the company to a local Indonesian company, and because we thought like our future is in Indonesia, we could see the potential of Indonesia. So
you both
became Indonesian citizens. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was great. I mean, that was, I think, one of the best decisions we made. Big picture.
Because you are sure of the business of Archipelago, or like
hotel
industry in Indonesia, or like any other reasons?
Yeah, we saw our future as in Indonesia. I mean, we like living here. We like the people. We like the culture. It's a great place. I mean, and the potential for what we do, the business we do, is really good. I mean, if you're working in a hotel, for example, in Paris, even if it's a 5-star hotel, you check in and you want someone to carry your bags. I mean, there's no one there to carry your bags or service you or show you around. I mean, nobody. So it's like, there's your bags. There's the lift. See you over there, But in Indonesia, I mean, even in a 2-star, 3-star hotel, people still expect somebody to carry their bags, or that's the service, So the culture, the service culture here is much better, and you can do more stuff here. In the hotel business. I mean, it's not just about money. For us, it's about providing good service, building the best in class for the different brands that we have. If it's a 2-star, 5-star, I mean, we still want like the best in class service for 2-star, 3-star hotels, So in Indonesia and Asia in general, you can do that. But other places in the world, like Europe, where I'm from, or the States where Charlie's from, you can't do that anymore. That service is gone and will never return because salaries are just too expensive. You just can't find the staff that are that interested in working in hotels anymore.
Yep.
So, but in Indonesia and Asia, you can still run like a proper business and run a real like hospitality business. Yeah.
So the key to manage hotel is the service, the hospitality, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's basically it. Service is having a total service mindset. And then getting guest feedback, finding out like in general from the very beginning. Okay. We want to build this brand. We want to build this product. Okay, what does the market need? Yeah. And then look for a space in the market, and then try and build a product or a brand or a concept that kind of fits that, like a lot of people will want. So it doesn't have to be too specialist, but in our kind of business, we're looking for mostly volume in the 3 and the 4-star. So for us, we need like volume. So it's what the average person wants instead of like a specialized market, like a boutique hotel or something really unusual. Yeah, for us, it's more like the mid-scale bread and butter kind of stuff, So that's for us is more important, yeah.
That applies to all of Archipelago International's line of hotels?
The brands, yeah. I mean, say for example, we have 10 brands. So if it's 2-star or 5-star, in general, they'd be like, I mean, some of them are a little bit more specialist, but for example, the Aston brand would be, a very good quality. But, in general, we try and bring in like European Western standards, but add on top of that, then layer on Asian hospitality and Asian design standards, Asian specs, Asian. I mean, for us, most of the best design kind of concepts around the world at the moment are Asian. And Indonesian has great designers, great architects. They have great people for working in hotels. They still have a service mindset, a hospitality mindset. Yeah. So then you can create something really interesting and good.
Okay, and then like, how is the development of Archipelago hotel business right now?
Development's very good. I mean, COVID was obviously a bit slow on the hotel side, but what we did during COVID is we thought, okay, the COVID itself, looking at it, is going. We thought would take, 2 years of the pandemic.
Yes.
Based on history, 2 years of pandemic, and then 2 years of recovery, and then 2 years of boom.
Yeah.
So we said, okay, we have a 2-year period to do some stuff. So one of the things we did was we kind of fine-tuned a lot of the brands that we already had. So they had a better, product market fit going forward. Yeah. The other thing we did was, okay, we'll need a property management system software. And we had, done some software before, but we said, okay, we'll try and develop that within the 2 years. And we did that. We ended up building our own property management system called Centec. Yeah. And that launched like last December. And it's in about 25 hotels already at the moment. And we're doing about five hotels per month at the moment. And next year we'll do about 10 hotels per month. So that's going very well. So that was a big milestone for us because when we come in as management, then we can also bring in our own property management system. So that we control that then, the front of house, the back of house, and the point of sale system. And the other thing we said we do is, one of the things we did like many years ago is we centralized the e-commerce service. So we said during COVID, it might be a good opportunity to offer that also to individual hotels or groups that are not part of Archipelago, because it's a good service that people need. Yeah. Because we said like after COVID, you wouldn't have a lot of e-commerce staff in hotels, and a lot of hotels stopped their systems. Their channel manager, the booking engine, they just turned them off. Yeah. So after COVID, hotels were just crying out for e-commerce staff, yield management staff, and the system. So we said, okay, we'll offer this service. So we set that service up as a service called Powered by Archipelago. And we have over 100 hotels now in that system. And we also do it, like, for example, in Vietnam, in Kenya, Australia, UAE, Dominican Republic, Mexico. Yeah. So it's separate than the just pure management or of hotels like that. Yeah. So Powered by Archipelago goes very well, and we see great growth in that. It's a good system. So we developed also, as part of that, we developed our own Archipelago Arch CRS, Central Reservation System, we call it, which comprises basically there's maybe 10 systems in it. But the 3 main components will be the booking engine, the channel manager, and the rate shopping tool, the yield management system, And then we train the hotels themselves on how to use it. Yeah. So that works out very well. So that was some of the things we kind of did, and we see a big growth for those in the future.
Yeah. What is the result right now? Do you see any like good result from all of the efforts in like integrating like technology?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the Jules, who's Charlie's son, worked with us here he's been here about 20 years, and he's a real really good tech guy.
Okay.
Software, builds all our tech. And he's, we have good conversations. We see where the future is going, and we try and work out, okay, what's happening, And then we build systems and stuff for that. So the property management system we built for that. But we also develop in-house our own apps, our own HR systems, our own asset management systems, rate shopping tools, all kinds of stuff like that we'll develop in-house, because we like to do our own stuff in-house. We don't get outside consultants to do it.
Okay.
We try and build the expertise ourselves in-house, by studying it, researching it, getting in some people, but we don't hire outside consultants. We just build it all in-house. So we have all the capabilities are in-house that we need, either if it's software or IT or, architectural design, interior design, mechanical, electrical, plumbing design, and drafting. We have it all in-house, so we do it ourselves,
Okay. So it's like more easier, right? Because if you hire like outside companies or outside peoples, then like it's a lot of more problem or
in some ways it's easier, because you don't have, if business goes down or you don't have enough volume of business, then you have to keep bearing the costs, right? And to set it all up in the beginning is a little bit expensive. You have to hire all these people. But the advantage of it is everything is very smooth in-house. So one of the things we focus on in particular is alignment, to make sure everybody is aligned in the company with what our goals are, what the plan is, how all the brands fit together, how the architectural fits with the interior, fits with the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and then later on will fit with the service standards of that particular brand we want. So alignment for us is a key thing. So we make sure, like, for example, we have the goals in the organization, but we make sure that everybody understands that the system is more important itself than the goals. So everybody's kind of make sure they're aligned towards the goals, but working to improve the system every day.
So any plans to open like new hotels? Or?
Yeah, we have probably in Indonesia, we have another 50 hotels under various stages of construction, from design to almost opening soon.
50?
50 more, yeah. So we
From
have about
Sumatra to...
Yeah, all different places across, 2-star to 4-star, 5-star hotels, different locations, different cities. Depends, when you're building a hotel or looking at the particular location or market, then you figure out, okay, we need a 100-room 2-star hotel would be best here, or a 300-room 5-star hotel. There's variations depending on the market needs,
Yeah.
So then overseas, we're expanding into, Dominican Republic. We're doing hotels there now in the Americas. Mexico is big for us, and then Cuba is over there. So in the Middle East, we're seeing a lot. And then we have some hotels opening up in Saudi Arabia soon. They'll be opening up in Mecca, Jeddah, Medina.
Wow.
And they'll be coming with 2 of our brands, Aston and Alana.
Okay. When you plan to open a hotel in a city, a country, or a region, what are your considerations?
Is there a demand? Is there a demand for something we need? In the case of, for example, Saudi, there is a big demand, because Indonesia is like the second largest source market into Saudi Arabia, for example. Yeah. So in that case, when we were pitching to developers over there, it was a good story. We could tell, we're the largest chain here. We have a good brand recognition. So if you have Aston hotels or Alana hotels in Mecca, for sure we can bring in the Indonesian market.
Yeah.
So for us, like, that market in particular was a no-brainer.
Yeah. You can say we know Indonesians.
We know Indonesians. We know the market. We have good sales. Distribution is one of the advantages we have here. And we're very well connected. We have a great network with all our travel partners, whether it's OTAs or bed banks or travel agents or Hajj or Umrah organizers. So we can for sure bring in a lot of business to Saudi Arabia in the future. Yeah. So we just need the hotels. So fortunately enough, there was developers over there who took us up on the offer and signed the deal. So by next year, we should have the first archipelago hotels opening up in Saudi Arabia. So that's kind of like basically what we look at, market demand, and if there's a fit for our product.
That goes the same for in the Dominican Republic, in Mexico.
Yeah, Dominican Republic will be a little bit different. For example, in the Americas, we started off in Cuba. We were invited over by the Cuban government to do some hotels over there and try and bring in more of the Asian market, because traditionally they'd be more focused on Spanish and European market because it's a Spanish-speaking country, but they were looking at bringing in some Asian operators and who could, contract with Asian outbound operators in around Asia and China and stuff like that. So they contracted with us, and we started doing hotels in Cuba about 6 years ago. Due to various ups and downs and so forth, I mean, with COVID and all the rest, and the hotels opening, I mean, now we have 4 hotels open there. There's another 2 will open up towards the end of this year. So business now should be, flight volumes are coming back. People are going more for long haul flights. So in the future now, the business in Cuba will be better. But after we did Cuba, then we got a lot of requests then from people in the Dominican Republic, which is a big market over there. It's like one of probably the top destination for the US into the Caribbean. It's, politically it's very stable, it's well structured, legally it's very good, so it's quite easy to do business there. So for Americans, for example, buying second homes or condotels in the Dominican Republic is very popular. So we went in there, we have some deals over there. In that case, we do, like, for example, a joint venture with a company over there to do the management. They'll develop them and we'll manage them in a joint venture with them. So it's different kind of business models we use it for expanding overseas. Sometimes it could be like full-on management, sometimes it could be a licensing agreement, and sometimes it could be we set up a joint venture with them. Or in some places, like for example in Kenya, we do a lot of just powered by Archipelago. And we also sell our property management system over there, but we don't actually do management. So but depends what the different location wants,
So you see, like, the business is thriving after COVID?
Yeah, for sure it's thriving. I mean, there was a lot of businesses that kind of let staff go during COVID, but we actually hired more staff, in particular, like where we wanted to expand in the e-commerce business and the software business, planning for the future. So for us afterwards, I mean, the products that we developed were like really in demand, in particular, like the property management system, the Powered by Archipelago service. And then also, I mean, it gave us a chance, a 2-year quiet period to kind of almost set the reset button on a lot of stuff to, kind of polish the brands and refocus things a little bit. So we have a much better product market fit with all the stuff. Whereas, like, if COVID hadn't come, we wouldn't have had the opportunity to do that. We just had it kept, busy. But it just gave us a chance to, like, rejig kind of the organization a little bit. So after COVID, we came out much stronger as an organization than we went into COVID, And luckily at the time, we had enough resources to keep things ticking over and be able to develop this, So normally, like, we don't take a lot of money out of the company. We try and we reinvest it into the company, either of us developing software or expanding overseas and so forth. That's where, like, most of our money goes. So we can grow the business, grow our expertise, grow our capabilities. So everything kind of goes like that. That's the general strategy we use.
With the big like business you have, like not just in Indonesia but also abroad, what is the value you want to, like, give all the time to the staffs, like to the business or something? What are your values about running this business?
In general, I mean, we use one word: it's trust. So we want basically people, if they book our hotels or stay in hotels or work for us as a company, it's a company we can trust. I mean, they're gonna, for staff point of view, basically the offer is, look, you come work for our company. This is what's in it for you. And if things go well, this is what's in it for us. So it's like, you're gonna get a good job, you're gonna get well paid, you're gonna get salary increases, you're gonna get bonuses, you're gonna be able to grow your expertise, you're gonna be able to develop as a person, develop in your type of business that you do, whether it's in food and beverage part of the division or the architectural part. So for us, that's important, and then, for guests coming to hotels, for owners who are hiring us to manage their properties, I mean, we need to be a company that people can trust, and we try and do that all the time. So that's the one word for us, would be trust. Guests can trust that it's, clean, safe, well organized. They're not going to get food poisoning. Everything's going to run well. They're going to, and then, they're going to have a good time. It's an interesting brand. There's something quirky about the hotel that's a little bit more interesting. And it's not just like typical kind of hotel, we try and do that from the 2-star to the 5-star. There's always like something a little bit different, a little bit special in the hotels, whether it's in the design and the service and the way we do things, So for us, that's important.
So the leadership is important to you?
Leadership is key. I mean, everything starts at the top, I mean, you can start to look in the beginning. Say, for example, we were six or 7 staff in the beginning, right, when the company started. So we were like pirates. We were like a little pirate organization, a pirate ship kind of going around the sea. This is the way we kind of see it ourselves almost. It's like you can, everything's open. There's no rules and regulation. You can develop what you like. You have a blank page. You can do what you like. And there's no real risk involved because you're so small. You have nothing to lose, right?
Yeah.
But then as you develop, as you move through the various stages of your organization getting bigger, I mean, in the corporate office now, for example, we're up to like 200 staff in the corporate office. But as an organization with staff in the hotels, we'd be maybe 20,000 people. So you go from becoming pirates all the way through the various stages until you come like almost the Navy.
Yeah.
So once you become like the Navy, then you have to have admirals, commanders, captains, proper systems in place. Things have to run properly. So moving, through the various sizes of the organization, from a family size to like a tribe up to 100 people, or a city size, or a town size at 500, to a city size at 10,000, to an international organization like country size at 20,000, where you're, quite a substantial organization. All these systems have to be put in place. We've gone from pirates to the Navy, but now we're much more structured. We have executives in the company now, not even from the hotel business, but we have people from the insurance business, from the banking business, so they can bring in, different things for us
and
in different areas and different insights and stuff, and they have different experience in different businesses and stuff. So the core of us is hotels, but we have expertise and different people from outside to make sure we run as a good Navy.
So, how do you build relationship with your coworker and with your staff, of course?
We have, basically we have like 4 pillars. So one of them is, for example, Kaizen, which is constant improvement. So we have that one. And the other one then is what we call HAM, which is harmony, alignment, momentum. Okay. So they're the core principles, right? So as regards the staff, that would fall into the first one, which is harmony. Yeah. So we try and focus that all the staff are looked after, nobody gets mistreated, everybody has a very harmonious relationship within the group. There's we try and reduce like politics within the company and stuff like that. So basically harmony. We try and make sure everybody's in a harmonious kind of way, and that helps things going forward. So that's how staff are looked after. Harmony.
Harmony, okay. So what is your opinion about hospitality industry nowadays? There's a lot of hotels in Indonesia right now, and then they offered a lot of concepts. What do you think of that?
Oh, it's great. I mean, Indonesia at the moment has about plus or minus 23,000 hotels. So, but a lot of them are maybe only 7 or 8% of them are actually branded. So, whereas if you compare that with America, US market, which is the most developed kind of like hospitality market in general in the world, right? So they'd have about 50,000 hotels, and 80% of those would be branded or connected to some kind of reservation or central system. So Indonesia still has a lot of potential for branding, because the general market, especially after COVID, the general market kind of demand is more towards like safety, security, cleanliness, healthy, places they can trust, right? So brands in general will offer, if you're going to a branded hotel, you feel like you can get your bed's clean, your air conditioner is going to work, the hot water is going to work, the breakfast is going to be nice, the staff are going to be friendly. So instead of, for example, if you're going to a town and you're going to an independent hotel, you're not really sure what you're going to get, At least with a brand, you can get almost a guaranteed kind of expectation. And, a hotel you can trust, for example. But that's kind of like where the market is going at the moment. I mean, people are going more towards branded products, branded hotels. So they're more like they can trust them,
So the brand is the challenge in Indonesia?
Well, brands will develop. I mean, for example, us, Accor, Marriott, Hilton, all of our brands will expand for sure across the archipelago, because it's also, apart from hotels you can trust, brands also bring in a bigger network. I mean, we have much bigger, the bigger you are, the more of a network you have in theory, right? But, we would have a much bigger network with, online travel agents, with bed banks, with travel agents, with government. Just because we're bigger, we have a bigger reach, we have a bigger network. And then the other thing then is distribution channels. I mean, if you're bigger, a brand like us, for example, especially a local brand, we have fantastic distribution channels. So we'd have a distribution advantage over independent hotels, because we can, we just have a bigger reach. We can distribute bigger. So when you're running a race, I mean, in the hospitality business, the faster you can distribute, the faster you can run. And we have the best distribution, so we can run fastest. So for us, our possibility to expand is very good, because our network is better, our distribution is better. We can bring in more business to hotels.
Yeah.
So I mean that's the key,
Okay. About the expansion, like I see Archipelago opens like hotels in second tier and third tier cities. What do you think about that? What are the reasons? Like
a lot of it's to do with, a lot of the primary cities like Jakarta,
yeah.
Surabaya, Medan, big markets like Bali, they're already full of hotels. So, and with the development in Indonesia, and also with like the infrastructure that the government has put in place in the last 10 years, for example. I mean, if you take East Java as an example,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the cities there before, like Solo, for example, would have been not so busy.
Yeah.
But now with the good infrastructure, with the better train system, the better toll road system,
It's getting
I mean,
busier.
everything's getting busier. It's easier for people to travel around on a journey that used to take 6 hours to go to a small town. Now maybe take 1 hour, 2 hours.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more demand for that. It's easier just to get around. So, but also these cities are also developing. I mean, the economy in Indonesia in general is going very, very well. It's like it's a steady 5 to 6% every year. COVID didn't have such a negative effect. So these people are getting, more wealthy. They want to travel more.
Yes.
So that's why you see a lot more development. And again, people are demanding in these cities. They want to build up. They want to have, for example, a branded hotel. They want to have a Starbucks. They want to have a shopping mall. They want to, the mayors and the governors in these cities or provinces, they want to have this stuff so they'll, it brings in more investment into the city, brings in more investment into the province, just puts the province on the map,
Yeah.
So that's why you're seeing like a lot more development in particular of branded hotels, whether it's, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, probably not so much 5-star in the secondary and tertiary cities, but definitely, the sweet spot, 3-star, 4-star hotels.
4-star,
You see a lot more development, especially branded hotels,
Yeah. What are the challenges in different cities or different regions to open a hotel? Like, for example, in Sumatra, in Kalimantan, in Sulawesi, or in Nusa Tenggara or Java, what are the challenges?
Well, from the beginning, I mean, you'd have like, it goes on a curve, basically. I mean, the easiest place to build hotel would be in, construction-wise would be in Jakarta, because all the contractors are here, a lot of materials are here, or Surabaya, for example, it's easy to get the stuff. The worst would be, or the most difficult, for example, would be on an island, or Labuan Bajo, for example.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you're in Labuan Bajo, like construction over there would cost you 40 or 50% more to do it.
Because of the transport.
Well, because the transport, contractors don't want to go there.
Yeah.
It's very far for them.
Yeah.
Also, you have to ship in all the materials, whether it's, concrete, cement, wood, everything like that is more expensive to bring in. Then when you're operating it, you also need it because, for example, if you're in Jakarta, the staff can just find their own housing. If you're in Labuan Bajo or Flores, for example, you have to also build staff housing. And that could be for a 4-star, 5-star hotel. It could be staff housing up to 200 people, plus staff housing, plus, feeding them, plus entertaining them, badminton courts, table tennis, and then you have to fly all these people in and out once a year.
Yeah.
So you also have a lot more turnover of those kind of staff. In Jakarta, like, people have their families here, they're happy to stay here.
Yeah.
If you hire somebody for a hotel in Labuan Bajo, for example, maybe they'll stay 6 months or a year, but as soon as they get a job in Bali or Jakarta, they're gone.
Yeah.
So you have 100, 150% turnover of staff every year. So then you need, a bigger recruitment process, a bigger training process, a bigger HR division. You don't have that continuity of service and longevity.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of problems you deal with. And as well as that, then, you need to have, for example, in Jakarta, you can get deliveries every day.
Yeah.
Labuan Bajo, you might get deliveries once a month, once a week, for example. So you need, more logistics. You need bigger storage, more cold storage, more stores, more people to handle the stores. You need more stuff like that, and it's more expensive. So it could be 20 or 30% more expensive to get the products to that location, and it will cost you 20 or 30% more to store all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, and then you have a lot more wastage, of course, that goes along with it.
But
So this is it's a logistical nightmare, if you like, in those kind of places. But, you can do it. I mean, you can get higher rates. There is some advantages, but it's just logistically, it's very, very difficult. Yeah.
But it's worth the potential, right?
For some people, if you can get, I mean, not everybody's going to win. It's not a winner. It's a very kind of nuanced market. So maybe from 10 hotels, maybe 3 of those hotels will be doing well, 4 will be doing okay, and then 3 will be doing badly. That's what you'd expect in a kind of a market like that, but not everybody will be doing well. But again, the branded hotels will have an advantage because they'll get, they have a bigger network, they have a distribution advantage, they have a better, product market, balance product in place to fit the market. Yeah. So, and then people in general will book again when they're going to places like Labuan Bajo. Yeah. They'll book a branded hotels because they don't want to go there and then be disappointed that, there's bed bugs or the electricity doesn't work or the water's brown, or they don't want to have those kind of problems. So for those kind of reasons, you'll get more branded hotels and they will perform better. They'll have a better rate, better occupancy, they'll run better, and staff will stay there longer because they have a better career path if they're in a branded hotel.
Right. We heard that you opened a hotel in Banten, right?
Yeah, I mean, we liked, one of the things we decided to do a few years ago was open our own hotels. But one of the problems we have in doing it is we can't really open our own hotels in locations where we have managed hotels. Because it's not fair. It's not fair on those owners. I mean, even if we don't, as soon as we get 1 or 2% occupancy, those owners would be complaining, going, "Oh, you're putting all your business in your own hotel." So yeah, we wouldn't do that. But I mean, we understand. So we had to find a location where we do some of our own hotels, but away from managed hotels. So a few years ago, I was down in Anyer, and I couldn't find a good hotel to stay, but I really loved the area. So I thought, this would be a good place. So we got some land on the beach and we built a nice kind of small hotel. That went well. Then while we were there, we got another location then in Cilegon. We didn't have a hotel there, so it was like, we could see that as the kind of commercial kind of capital of Banten, and a nice city. So we built an Aston boutique hotel there. And then after that, in Serang, we got another opportunity. They moved the mayor's office and the governor's office a little bit outside the city, built new facilities. So we got some land very close to that. And then we built a kind of convention hotel, so that will cater to all the government needs that are there. Because the problem with Serang, it didn't have like a very good international branded hotels.
For business meetings.
For business meetings, for bringing in investment into the city, into the province itself. The closest you get was Tangerang. So we built a hotel and convention center in Serang. It opened up last month. It's already doing very well. Got a lot of bookings. Got a lot of demand. Places like previously they would have had meetings in Tangerang. Now they're moving to Serang. So the governor is very happy. The mayor is very happy. So it's you can do a lot more stuff there. So it's for us. It's great for the province. I mean, we're able to we're building international hotels for Cilegon in Anyer for the tourism and dealing with the Krakatoa industrial estate meetings from there. And then in Serang, then we're catering a lot for the government, to help build up the province. But it all helps, I mean, it helps. We had an investment conference over there in the first month. We had a lot of people coming in looking to invest in Serang and Banten province, which was great. So we were happy we were able to help with that. Yeah.
So it's a good decision.
Good decision. So, you never know. I mean, when you're, you can have a theory and you can have ideas looking at the market and say, oh yeah, we think it's going to be like this. And you can be confident, yeah, it's going to be like this. Should we build this and that? But I mean, until the rubber hits the road, until the thing actually opens and, the market reacts, you never really know. I mean, then after that, you might have to fine tune, or it's very rare that you'll hit it like right on the head straight away, But luckily with this one, it's like, it's going very well. But I mean, later, you might need to build more rooms or some more meeting rooms or a few extra facilities. But in general, I mean, that was probably like 98% like a good concept for that particular market. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's still a worry. For me, it's a worry. Even until the day it opens, it's a worry. It's like, oh man, I hope this fills up, It's like, okay.
But it fills up.
It fills up. Lucky. So it's okay.
Now, I want to know about, like, you have years of experience in hotel industry, but nowadays Airbnb is like everywhere. What do you think about that? Is that like a threat to hotel industry, or is it complementary to?
A little bit. I mean, obviously, if you're taking, it depends on the market. I mean, Airbnb in Indonesia never really got that popular. So it doesn't really, in Indonesia, for our key market here, like our base market, it doesn't really affect us. I mean, I think it affected mostly markets in where there's like huge demand, like Barcelona, Amsterdam, New York. But even then, a lot of the places have stopped Airbnb. They're not allowed to function there anymore because it just increases the costs of homes and rental for homes. So the people living in those cities can't rent anymore because, owners are just renting them out on Airbnb at higher rates. So, but in general, I mean, people expected that it would have some effect, but there was a little bit of an effect, but overall, not really. It's just a different kind of thing, because Airbnb offers kind of a product, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, that hotels in general don't really offer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, most hotels are built with 15% of the rooms would be suites. But even then, you might have connecting rooms. But even then, it doesn't really give you like a kitchen, like a living room, a central living room, and stuff like that. So it's a kind of a different product. So I think it's helped people travel more, rather than it's not really the same market being spread out between hotels and Airbnb. I think it's helped grow the market a bit more. So families, 2 or 3 kids, for example, or groups of people who previously wouldn't go because it's a hassle booking a hotel to fit their needs. Now they can book an Airbnb. And then, at the same time, maybe they'll spend a few nights in Airbnb in one destination. And at the same time, they'll also stay in a hotel. So it brings more people in, But I think overall what happened with tourism globally is that it's expanding immensely. So there's just so much demand in tourism sector that you can fill it in quite easily, There's massive demand in most places,
Okay. Now, I want to know about your vision of future. How do you manage a lot of people and then a lot of business? What is your key of success? Is it your talent, or is it your persistence, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think any entrepreneurs, Charlie, myself, you asked us, or any entrepreneur around the world, I mean, perseverance is the key. If you're setting up a business, unless you're setting up a business that's just going to go public in a few years' time, I mean, there is a finite period of time where you have to work hard. But if you're building up a business like us, that's going for the long term, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, that's a long period of time to be persevering. I mean, you have to focus yourself to get up out of bed every morning. I mean, for me on the weekend, I like the weekends, but I really look forward to Monday mornings, because Monday mornings, when the business starts and things get going again, and we're really ramping up. I mean, I really look forward to Monday mornings. And I look forward to most days that I'm working. It's just great thing, But to have that perseverance in your business day after day, hour after hour, minute after minute, for an extended period of time, it's quite difficult, So that's really the key. But when you're running an organization itself, the key is the structure of the organization, the organizational structure. I mean, you have your goals and stuff like that, but it's the actual structure and the system that you put in place that makes things work. So say, for example, if you're, 8 people looking to get an Olympic gold medal, that's your goal. So those 8 people, they all have the same goal, right? But it's the system that they put in place, the training system, the eating system, the recovery system that they put in place is going to get them to achieve their goal. Only one person can achieve that goal. And the rest of them will miss it. So, I mean, you can ask yourself, well, you didn't have the proper goal and stuff like that. But actually, I mean, it's a system before they take part in the competition, which will decide whether they're going to be successful or not. And for us, it's always about fixing the system, working the system every day, looking for 1% improvements in how we can fix things up, how we can, make the social media a little bit better, how you can improve the F&B, how you can improve the entrance, how you can improve the sense in the lobby, all different things. I mean, we get our guys in all the hotels and the corporate office to always be focusing on how you can improve just a little bit. Because there's big gains in small improvements, short movements, little bit every day. And at the same time, not getting worse. That's also important, right? But if you can make these small improvements over, a long period of time and persevere with it, after, 20 years like we've been in business, you have a very kind of well-structured, well-run organization, So it's a system that really kind of is the key to it. And we make sure all the staff understand the system is the crown jewel. That's the key to making a successful company.
With all of that, are you optimistic about the success of Archipelago in the next future, not just in Indonesia, but also abroad?
Yeah, for sure. Because we've built, most of our staff are here in Indonesia. So all the core stuff we do is in Indonesia. So our cost base here is a lot less than it is, for example, overseas in Europe or the Middle East or the Americas, for example, where salaries are much more expensive. And you can't find the people interested in doing it over there. So our opportunity here is particularly in hotel technology or hotel distribution, connectivity, yield management and so forth. We can do that here with the expertise we have here at a fraction of the cost they can do it over there. So for them to outsource that system is a no-brainer. That's what you should be doing. Because I mean, there's no point hiring, 3 people in Dubai at $5,000 per month. When you can hire, outsource that service to us. So this for us, a lot of those services like either Powered by Archipelago or Centec or licensing agreements and other stuff that we can do, distribution and stuff like that for hotels is easy. It's much easier to do it here,
With the strong basis of Archipelago.
Strong base, yeah. I mean, we've come out of COVID very strong. I mean, really, really strong. I mean, with all the technology we need, all the expertise we need, the rejig thing, brands with a much better product market fit now. And then we also some of the products, for example, what we do is, freemium. Freemium? Freemium products is like a freemium is so there's no upfront cost. So if we're doing, so it's just like a subscription, but it just goes on. So as soon as the system is set up, then you start paying. So for example, if people are using the Centec PMS or the Powered by Archipelago service, there's no setup, there's no upfront fee, there's no setup cost or anything like that. So even if it takes, for example, 1 or 2 months to set up the PBA or the Centec system, there's no cost in that. We only start charging after it's set up and running, So freemium product is like what the market, it kind of is very good for the market. Because a lot of people, hotels, they don't want an upfront cost, right? Because they're not really sure how the system works, if it's good or not. But if you say, okay, well, it's a freemium product, it's like this, there's no cost until it's up and running. You can expand quite quickly doing that if you have it in place, Because I mean, a lot of the things with PBA or the Centec PMS software in general, is a lot of it is in the upfront cost. The actual running cost afterwards is not that much. So once you find that sweet spot of value for money for people, a really good product market fit, but the pricing is good, the strategy, the product really fits everything. So the product, the price, the place, the promotion, how you do it all fits, then you can have a good run, So for Powered by Archipelago, for example, the first 6 months were a bit slow because we were just adjusting that product market fit. But once you get that product market fit there and you get that sweet spot, then it really takes off.
You can go smoothly.
Yeah, then everything goes smooth because it's just a product that people really need. They understand it. It's nice and simple. It doesn't cost them anything to set up. And then it's in high demand. Most independent hotels, independent chains of hotels need this system because they don't have that expertise in-house.
So are you sure, or are you optimistic that Archipelago will be like #1 hotel chain?
I don't think we'd be the #1. I mean, our goal at the moment, for example, last year we were number 42 in size in the world globally, which is good for an Indonesian company. I mean, number 42 is very good. Our goal we got up to about 37,000 keys by the end of last year. So this year we expect to get to about 50,000 keys in the system. And that would put us in about maybe number 32 or 33. But our goal is to get up to about 100,000, 200,000 keys overall through different types of management, licensing agreements, franchise agreements, joint ventures, or Powered by Archipelago. So that's the kind of goal for the next maybe 10 years. Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Future. Let's see. The story still has to be written. Hopefully, a lot of the chapters, But so far, it's been a great journey. I mean, we really enjoyed it. We still have the same enthusiasm we did 20 years ago, even probably more so now because, we have a lot more people to work with. We have a lot more resources. We have a lot more systems in place. And the world is really going to boom for tourism in the next couple of years. I mean, people are just, after COVID, you had, people did a little bit domestic travel. And then after that, they did, build confidence. They did maybe 2 or 3 hour flights. In the future, then it's going to be back to long haul flights next year once airlines, can gear up with the amount of planes they have. They get all their flight paths back. All their new routes are in place. Indonesia's got a great future because, it's, Bali's #1, the bucket list. I mean, the government have done a great job putting in a lot of the infrastructure. But Sandy is very, very busy as Minister of Tourism. He's done a great job, very smooth. He's been consistent. He's had a good message to the market. So that's been very good. And he's been, he's great working with the hotel companies. Developing a cohesive plan, to the domestic market, to the international market. So, the future for us, we think is very good. For Indonesia, it's great. For us, it's great. And we're looking forward to being a part of it.
Yeah. Okay. John.
Very good.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
For having us. I wish you success.
Very good. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I hope they understand it. I hope I didn't talk too too quickly. Yeah. But
No,
yeah,
no.
thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.